Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cynthia Linox Show. I am your host, Cynthia Linox, here to remind you that this is the best season of your life. This is the first week after Thanksgiving, and I sure hope you had a fantastic, a terrific, an amazing Thanksgiving, however you chose to celebrate it, even if it was just you and yourself. You know that you are good company to yourself. So I just hope that you enjoyed it. And I hope you didn't get into this thing, when you are, when there's, food going around and so forth. And, people talking about, oh, this is fattening or I'm having too much or about diet. No, 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 no. When it's a holiday, decide to enjoy and really enjoy unapologetically. Now, after the holiday, then you can go back to your original. As a matter of fact, my husband and I, we decided to take this cruise. We spent Thanksgiving Day in the Cayman Islands, and that was really, well, it really was aboard the ship where we ate and so forth. But we decided to take a cruise through the Panama Canal, and that was really an amazing experience. If you have a chance, and if that's kind of your thing, you like history and you like that kind of experience, it is something to behold what man's mind can accomplish. And obviously we have the benefit of it because without the Panama Canal, you've got the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, and without that narrow stretch, which is Panama, the country of Panama, you would have to go all the way around South America by Argentina, and I think it takes about 2 weeks, that stretch, wherein it would take about 45 minutes to go through the Panama Canal from the Atlantic to the Pacific. And that was amazing. So, anyway, besides going through the Panama Canal, we also had the opportunity to visit other countries like Cartagena, Colombia. We visited, obviously, Panama, Gatun Locks. And Gatun Locks, the Panama Canal was originally built in 1904 and, ran smoothly for a long time. But as time went on, as we evolve in so many ways, the ships got bigger, so they didn't fit in the narrow canal that was originally built. So they had to widen. They had to build new locks and to fit the ships. So in 2016, new locks started to operate, and these humongous ships like the one we were on, can go through with ease. And it's just amazing how the water rises and then it lowers to get the ship the ship through, and then it rises to sea level. It's just an amazing mechanism. It's just great engineering if you kind of like that stuff. But anyway, so we went to Cartagena, Colombia, Panama, Gatun Locks, where else? Costa Rica, and Jamaica, and then of course the Cayman Islands. And we had a few days at sea, and the entertainment on the ship was just magnificent. This was like our 26th cruise. We like to cruise, but we met this couple, Sylvain and Marie. They were from France, but I believe they live perhaps in Canada. They were on their 40th cruise, living their best season. And as a matter of fact, they said at the end of this cruise that they were going to continue. They're going to continue on the ship to whatever destination the ship was going. So we thought that was just amazing. Their 40th cruise, we had a chance to chat with them, and they're just, they've been married for 45 years, but I mean, they were just so vibrant and full of life. And we really got a chance to chat with them, and they share a little bit about themselves and so forth. We met some amazing people on this ship. We also met Nicole and Irwin, just a great couple. And we had the opportunity to spend some time with them, and that was just good. We sat one night at the Piazza coffee bar, and had some cookies and stuff, and we were just talking and so forth. And Irwin looked, and I know you're listening, Irwin. I thank you for your support, my fan base support. And Irwin looked at my husband and says, "You guys are really inspiring." And that for us was so uh, touching, because that's really what we want to do. We want to inspire people to just see how great they are and to live and enjoy their best life. And they were sharing some things with us, and it was just wonderful to share with them, and just all the other people that we met on this cruise. um One of the things when we travel that I find most fascinating is the people that we meet. The people that you meet just add so much. They just embellish your life. At least that is my experience, because you get to talking with people, and then you can figure out immediately the things you have in common. And we were talking, and we were like, oh yes, yeah. We were talking with Irwin and Nicole at the table. And Nicole is from Belgium, Erwin is from good old Brooklyn, but they are just a dynamic duo. And they were sharing some things about we were getting into some deep conversation. But the interesting about it is when you can say, oh yeah, me too, that's right, I agree. And when you discover things that you have in common, it just adds to the mix. It just makes it such a great blend to share, and also appreciate the differences in other people. And all that has to do with keeping an open mind. When I talk about keeping an open mind, it's many people say, well, I'm open minded, I whatever and so forth. But it's more than just listening. Keeping an open mind has to do with your curiosity, allowing yourself to be curious. As a matter of fact, let me digress a little bit. For Thanksgiving, you remember the week before I shared, or I encouraged you to share this new experience of self gratitude, to practice self gratitude. I said, do something different, because the norm on Thanksgiving Day is, you go around the table and everybody give thanks. And in most cases, as a matter of fact, in all cases, people give thanks for things externally. I'm grateful for this or this, that, I'm grateful and so forth. But you never really uh, take a moment to be grateful, to give thanks, to be grateful for you and for the things that, for who you are, your accomplishments, your achievements, to admire yourself, because we usually associate those uh, thoughts or behaviors with pride, arrogance, and selfishness, and so forth, which is neither, that has nothing to do with it. It all depends on your perspective and your perception of things and so forth. So it's not a matter of pride or arrogance. No, when you learn to appreciate yourself and admire yourself for the things that you have accomplished, that leads to increased self-worth. It really helps you know who you are, cement, it really sets your mind. It allows you to embody who you are, so that as you navigate life, things happen things happen automatically. We develop habits, and in most cases, they're bad habits, or habits that really don't lead to a fruitful, productive, meaningful life. Could be the habit of worrying or fret or fear and so forth. And that comes out automatically. Or lack, thinking I can't afford this, I can't do this, I can't do that, and so forth. And that is no way to live, because you will always be stressed out. But if you embody habits of your self-worth, your self-gratitude, then that's a whole different ball game. And even if people are not comfortable with that, you have to be comfortable with it. So for that, my husband and I, after we finished at the dining room and we had our meal and so forth, we went to the promenade and they had this entertainment and so forth. And you know, the host of this entertainment approached us and wanted us to. She was approaching a few couples, and I don't know what was her criteria, but she approached us and wanted us to go up. You know, she said at the end of the, you know, entertainment, you know, I'm going to call up the couples, and you know, you know, there's a, whatever. Anyway, so we said, yeah, we'll do it. You know, I looked at my husband, and he's like, oh, it's up to you, and I said, yeah, we'll do it. So at the end, they called up different couples. You know, we were probably about 10 different couples, and the man had a rose to give to their partner, wife, whatever, and my husband gave me a rose. I call it the final rose, and with that, of course, came the fantasy suite, which was sweet. So anyway, that was just a nice experience. But as we sat at the table, just enjoying the entertainment, or before actually, I said, you know, today's Thanksgiving. Um, and just as I mentioned in my show a week ago, let's practice self gratitude. And I said, because it's easy for us, it's like it's easy for me to say about you that I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful that you are a responsible man, you know, loyal husband, faithful, you know, man of character, integrity. I can say all those things about you, and they are all truth. But to say things about myself, it's a different twist. And so I said, I'll go first. So I said, you know, I just really admire myself because I allow myself to keep an open mind, to remain curious as a child. You know, a child wants to learn things. They're, you know, 2-year old, that's what they call them, the terrible twos. They're always asking questions. They want to learn. They want to expand their knowledge, their understanding of things. And I said, and I am also grateful that I allow myself to embrace new interest in life, whether it's in whatever discipline. I allow myself, and even if it seems something like something prohibitive, like some people say, don't get into too much uh, uh, mystic things or science or whatever. I allow myself to garner knowledge and to know, to learn things. I admire that in me. I admire the fact that I you know, I like people, and I always seize opportunities, every opportunity I get. If I see someone down or depressed or saying something negative, I always flip it around. I seize the opportunity to flip it around and to let them see the bright side of life, the bright side of life, of their life. And I admire that of me, and people recognize that, because what happens is that it's you're emanating a certain energy, and you're really embellishing the lives of another person. I admire the fact that I can make myself vulnerable, and or you know, when I walk down the street, I initiate lots of smiles with someone. As a matter of fact, my husband is always asking me, do you know that person? Do you know her? Have you met her? You know, because I would smile and they would give me one back. And it's just, I admire all those things about myself. So anyway, I said a few things and I said, okay, you go. And for my husband, it was a little different. It was a little different because he, you know, my husband is, you know, he's a little more reserved, and you know, he will always admire other people. He doesn't, you know. And so he said, well, you know, I am just grateful for the things that we have accomplished, and see, and he just went into external things that we have accomplished, and he just included me in everything. You know, he was glad for us and so forth. So as I said, well, try this again, whatever. But he just wasn't there. And I imagine that if you did it, if you initiated that practice in your midst on Thanksgiving Day, I am sure there were people that were not comfortable with that. It's not comfortable. It is not comfortable. Being your true authentic self, it's not comfortable. It puts some people, uh, makes them uneasy when you talk about yourself. And I'm not talking in a bragging way. You just know who you are, and you talk about, because the same way you talk about yourself is the same, is it the regard that you will see in others, and the same value, their worth. You know that. I can say things about myself, but gosh, when I look at you, I can see your value, and I will tell you, boy, you really have some skills, or your talent, or and I will share that with people. So you cannot go through life being concerned with what people think or say. You just can't, because people will always have an opinion. And one thing is important to know is that you are not everyone's cup of tea. That's it. You are not here for everyone. You're not here for everyone, but for the ones that can appreciate what you share and embrace what you bring to the table or to their lives, those are your people. Everyone else, their acquaintances, or, they may not like you for no reason. And that is okay. That's not your problem. And once that is clear in your mind, once you understand that, then you will know that you can navigate through life being your true, authentic self. But it takes confidence. It takes knowing your self-worth. It takes being comfortable in admiring who you are. Well, you admire other people. Why would you not admire who you are? Why? Because tradition and the conventional norm is that you don't give attention to yourself. Now, I am not talking about drawing attention to yourself, about bragging and so forth. But if you have a skill, if you have a talent, and whatever it is that you do, you have to come to a place where you are comfortable in talking about it. And I've met some people like that. And I kind of, not kind of, I admire them, because what it tells me is that they're confident in who they are, being their true, authentic self. And it comes a point where as I mentioned before, it increases your self-worth, but it comes a point where you embody that, your self-worth, your authenticity. I was in a cab not too long ago, and I was sitting in the back, of course, opposite the driver. I was on the right side, and of course, the driver's on the left, and um, there was a meter. It was a metered cab, and I didn't see it, but I knew that it was a meter. So when I looked, I kind of looked, and I saw his dash, the panel. He had a dash on the car, and I saw the numbers weren't moving. I guess it was a radio station or something. And I said, where's the where's the meter? I said, I don't see the meter. Where's the meter? He said, what do you mean you don't see the meter? Here it is. Can't you see it? The meter is here. I said, oh, well, I'm sitting over here. I didn't see it because it's opposite me. And I sat there for a second, and it just didn't feel right. And I said, for my own sake, it didn't feel right. And I said, sir, I said, I'm not sure what makes you think you can talk to me that way. He said, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm really so sorry. I didn't say anything else, but I was pleased with myself that I took that initiative to establish boundaries, because I don't know who he associates with, and I don't know what kind of passengers he's used to, but that did not go over at all. He said, He said, "What do you mean you don't can't see it? It's right here." I was really shocked. I was shocked. I was aghast because I didn't. I could not. It could not register in my mind what made him think. This guy. He doesn't know me. This is the first time he's seeing me. What made him? I start questioning myself. What did I send out some kind of an energy? I mean, I was just sitting in the car and I just said, I said, where's the meter? And I said, no, I don't know what made you think that you can talk to me that way. And he caught it immediately. He caught it. And what I'm saying is when you embody your worth, when you embody your authenticity and something doesn't flow, you identify it quickly and you address it, because that was part of me. And it kind of upset the inside of me that he would speak to me that way. I thought, you are out of your mind. I wasn't confrontational, and I wasn't trying to be confrontational, because today I understand, you have to be careful, and you don't know who may just go off or whatever. But I had to address it. And I know that this person felt bruised by my comment. He was bruised. And I know he was bruised by me saying, I'm not sure what makes you think you could talk to me that way. And, he was apologetic. I didn't say yea or nay. I just, held my peace until I reached my destination and so forth. The point is this: you have got to set boundaries. But when you embody it, when you embody your worth, and that's why, little things like these, self-gratitude and self-actualization and self-awareness, self-consciousness, when you understand the dynamics of who you are, you start you don't have to say, you don't have to make an announcement. Oh, I'm leaving, I'm leaving Facebook, I'm leaving this. You don't have to give any kind of explanation. You just embody who you are, and life goes on. You don't have to give any kind of explanation. You don't have to. It's really interesting because we really think we have to give an account to people for the life that we live. And that's why that's why I say you live your life unapologetically. And when I say that, I mean just knowing who you are, knowing your worth, and being your true authentic self. And not everyone is going to like that, because people want you to dance, to march at their drum beat. And when you kind of like, no, 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 that's not me. People don't like that. It's like, go ahead, do this, do that, do that. Taste this. No, no, you're going to like, no. You need to know who you are. Okay, now going back to what I was sharing earlier about keeping an open mind. Somebody said the other day, it's difficult for them to be happy. They don't feel worthy of happiness. And I was a little taken by that, because I know there are a lot of people that do not feel worthy of being happy. And I always say that the purpose of my life is pleasure, is to be happy. I'm happy. And it's not something that I have to seek. It's who I am. And as a result, that's what I emanate and share. And then I hear another person said something like, and this was something that I was watching this documentary on television, and this well-known public person said something to the effect that we are all inherently evil. And of course, he was coming from a doctrinal standpoint, and that's not something that I embrace at all. I'm not evil. Do I have the capability of committing evil? Yes, I do. But I'm not inherently evil. Why would you think that about yourself? And I thought, that's on you. That's what you believe. That's you. That's not we are all this we stuff. I don't know where he got that. I don't care who says it or who said it. And so, this person saying that they don't feel worthy of being happy and so forth. And I thought, I said, you need to keep an open mind about life, about your life, and you need to allow yourself to evolve. Um, and if you can't change your mind, you can't change your life. It is that simple. And life calls us to renew itself, to evolve. That's the only way we transform. We transform as we renew our minds. Life calls us to transform, but that only happens by renewing our mind. And what does that mean? Look, we are living in a whole different era, brand new century, a brand new century. Everything is new. And as things changes and evolve, we have to change and evolve. That's the only way that we will gain and progress, grow, increase. And it is upon each person to take responsibility for their own lives. You are responsible. And if you allow the influence of other people to keep you, at a standstill, stagnant, stifle, there's no growth. Your life will be the same over and over and over and over again. So someone asked, how do I know that I have an open mind? How do I know that I allow myself to be curious and so forth? I said, it's easy. You will see evidence. You will have demonstrable evidence, results. If your life is the same as it was last year, you don't have an open mind. You keep repeating the same habits, the same thought patterns, the same things over and over and over and over again. Because to have an open mind is not a change of opinion. To have an open mind is putting into practice the things that you have learned. And as you put it into practice, you develop, it starts with a mindset, the thoughts that are set in your mind. And you put it into practice little by little. Then it becomes a habit. Then you start to embody it. And all this time, you're sending information to your subconscious mind so that it will do the things that it needs to do, the things that you desire, the things that you want, the things that you aspire, the goals, the desire, all of that. The subconscious mind takes that information, the habits that are formed in your mind, day after day after day after day after day. And, if you have a closed mind, your whole outer life reflects that. It's the same thing day in and day out. It's the same thing over and over and over and over again. No growth, no development, no evolution. You're not evolving. And that's why she thinks that she is not worthy of being happy. Just imagine that. Not worthy of being happy. So, what are your choices? Do you embrace sadness or suffering or what is it that you, and what happens is that you go back to your comfort zone, to the place of comfort where you're most comfortable, and you just people suffer in comfort. You get in the habit of experiencing suffering, whether it's in your physical body, in your emotions, in your mind. you just live a life of suffering. To think that you're not worthy of being happy? Why? Because that person does not know their self-worth. I would imagine to even express self-gratitude, that would be a big no for that person. Imagine that. Imagine that. So, to keep an open mind, to remain curious about life, to have your interests pricked by new information, new people, new spark, new environment. Allow yourself to do things that are unconventional, out of tradition, out of the norm, so that you can have new experiences and you may like it. You may like it, or you may realize you don't like it. One of the evenings on the ship, I chose escargot for the starter, the aperitif, and I don't remember. I may have had it before, but anyway, they brought it nicely. I mean, it was just pretty, nicely presented, and so forth. And I tasted one, and it was nicely seasoned, but I didn't like the texture of it. And it was in a dish that had sections, and there were like eight of them, and really nicely presented. And I tasted one, and I said, I didn't like it at all. And so my husband was like, come on, kick it up a notch, enjoy the fine foods of life. And I'm like, that may be fine. It's not fine for me. I don't like it. I don't like the texture and whatever. The thing is, I allowed myself to taste it. Yeah, I allowed myself to taste it. And I didn't like it at all. I don't like escargot. I don't like squid. I don't like oysters. I don't like any of that. Give me lobster and octopus. And then, of course, all the other fish, seafood, shrimp, and all of that. So, but I allowed myself the curiosity of trying one. And that's how I knew I didn't like it. Now, if that's served to me again, I just won't, or, if it's on the menu, I just will never order escargot, because I learned that I don't like it. But on the reverse side, I remember one time we were in a restaurant and I tried lamb shank. And it's something that, lamb is not something that we eat, or, we don't cook lamb in our house, but I tried it and I liked it. I liked it so much I asked for another one the following evening. So allow yourself, you've got to see demonstrable evidence. You have got to see results. When you see the results in your life, and don't try to pretend, one of the things that's important to understand with this transformation, to be transformed, renew your mind so that you can be transformed. Change your mind, keep an open mind, change it. One of the things that is important for you to understand is that I mentioned earlier, you are not everyone's cup of tea. You need to put that to rest and be okay with that. But you may have to make some changes. You may have to make some changes to your environment. You may have to make some changes to your social circle to get away from people that are negative or toxic, or people that are just always not good for you. But the only way you will know that is, first of all, knowing what you want, what you desire, what you want your life to be like. And, it's so easy to live life on autopilot. It's so comfortable. You don't have to do anything. But in the meantime, there this thing on the inside that, we look at other people, and when you see somebody sits and judge other people and just never have anything good to say and just negative and so forth, that person that person does not have a life. And so you can't be mad at them. You just really need to have compassion because they want what they see. They just don't know how to get it. And I'm here to tell you, my friend, if you can fog a mirror, then I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. If you can fog a mirror, you can live the best season of your life. And look, make changes at will. You can change things up. When I decided to do this show, I first started with the happy mindset. That was my whole thing, and then I thought, as a matter of fact, that's what I was going to name the show, the happy mindset and stuff. But then I thought, no, and then the person that trained me, the expert that trained me, uh, I said, I'm going to make it the Cynthia Linox show. This way, I can, it's the Cynthia Linox show, and I can change the topics and so forth. And then a few weeks later, I thought, I'm going to do vintage charm at 60 plus. And what my idea was is and that's because I was influenced by a comment that I heard someone mention, a woman, a lady. She mentioned something about once you reach a certain age, you become invisible. And it was just a downer type conversation. And they were saying how, nobody notices them, the grandkids are, because, grandkids are wonderful. But let me tell you, they're living their lives. You are like a side dish. That's just the way it is. In most cases, they live their lives. They are, regardless of what age they are, and they will be, hi, grandma, so and so. But it's not like they are, Anyway, so my point is, you will get joy in your grandchildren, and they will have joy in you. But as they grow older, they have a different life. They're a totally different generation. So that's not really where your joy comes from. Your joy, because put it this way, if you say you're happy, that happiness has to come from you, for you, at you, about you. Because if you remove external influences, external situations, then if your happiness is contingent upon that, then it's removed and you're no longer happy. Some people are happy just because, people pay them a lot of attention, but that's not where you're happy. Your happiness emanates from knowing who you are, and being happy with. And when I talk about accomplishments, I'm not talking about, accomplishment, whatever it is that you wanted to do. If you wanted, it's like when I shared about the gentleman a few shows ago, and I said it was his first time to be able to say no. He was offered this position, and he's always said yes to things, even when he meant to say no. And that for him was a great accomplishment. Being able to say no, that was an achievement for him, because he won't go back. He will always now. Then he has the confidence and the assertiveness. He has embodied that confidence. So he'll be able to say no without an explanation. So you really have to change your mind, my friend. I mean, think about it. You have to change your mind. You have to change the way you think. Most people live their whole lives with limiting beliefs. They think one way. I had someone tell me that a couple of days ago. They said, this is what I believe, and I am not moving from there. They didn't say it quite that way, but they said, there's nothing that can convince me. Of course, I'm not trying to convince anybody about anything. I'm just saying, you allow yourself, because that person has a lot of issues going on, a lot, not only physical, but mental and emotional and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just saying, allow yourself to, to discover new things and embrace new thoughts. Allow yourself to be curious about life, about things. But you see, if your objective is just to live day in and day out, then this, you may not applaud this show because that's not what I talk about. I talk about living a vibrant, meaningful life. No matter what you're doing, just make it meaningful and vibrant. And I when I look at people like Cher or Dolly Parton or even the late Rosalind Carter, her life was giving and building and making people's lives so fruitful. And she got a lot of significance out of that, and it's just a wonderful legacy that she's left us. And when you look at somebody like Dolly Parton, I mean, look, she is who she is, and I can appreciate that. This season of her life, she is a mamacita, and so is Cher. That nobody's gonna tell them that. As a matter of fact, we didn't see the game. There was a Cowboy game while we were on the high seas, and I understand that we learned that she did the half, during the halftime, she did something or sang or whatever, and she came out dressed as a Dallas Cowboy girl and so forth. And I learned that there was a lot of controversy with that. I just laughed because I would have said, bravo, bravo. And I also learned that some people say, she should dress her age. What the hell is that? Dress your age. What does that mean? What does that mean? Did she look fine? Yes, she did. I just saw the picture, on Googled it because I thought she looked fine. I don't care what season of life she's in, she looked fine. That is my perspective. And to think that she is in that season and able to look so fine, but not only that, to have the vibrancy, the energy, the ability to move and to sing and to do the things that she did and allow herself to do it, that's what I'm talking about. In my mind, it's like it stretches you. It just stretches you to long life, not just to exist, but to live. If you can fog a mirror, if you have breath in you, I'm telling you, it is the best season of your life. Doesn't matter what you're doing, if you're working, if you're retired, doesn't matter. It's make it the best season of your life. Keep an open mind and remain curious. It's beautiful to see a kid, when they're like, they ask so many questions, what's this, what that, don't shun them and don't scold them and tell them, to shut up and stop asking that many questions. They're curious. They want to know. They want to know. And not only that, once they find out, once a kid learns how to tie their shoelaces or how to put on their shirts and so forth, don't you see they say, no, I can do it. I can do it. Let me do it. And then they get to a stage where they're selecting their own clothes. Why? Demonstrable changes. They're showing that they are evolving. Now they want to put on their own shirts. They want to put on their pants. They want to tie their own shoelaces. And in most cases, we know that, they think they did a good job, but, we have to go back and, secure it to make sure that it's well tied. And then they want to put they want to put the clothes together, and then they choose all these colors. And, I remember, with our grand treasures, they come to a point, they, match colors together, and you just kind of let them until they fall into their sense of self in their minds. Because many times we can try to influence them. Of course, if it's cold, you're not going to have them wear a silk blouse because that's just wisdom. But they put textures and sometimes they mismatch stuff and colors and so forth. But what's happening there? They're evolving. And what are you seeing? You're seeing results. You're seeing demonstrable evidence in their lives. And that is what has to happen. If you're not seeing demonstrable evidence in your life, then you are not evolving. You don't have an open mind. You're not curious, and your level of interest may have diminished. And you can spend a lot of time consuming information and collecting information by books and podcasts and outside information. That's fine, but you have to dedicate time for yourself and to yourself to evolve, and then start applying the things that you know. You have to start applying. If you want to have a meaningful social life, then you need to go to places. You need to go out. You need to go to a meetup group that may have the same interests as yourself. Meetup, they may talk about whatever it is that you're interested in. They have these meetup groups. I've shared that before. It's Meet Up. It's MEET and then up. And there are so many different categories that you will find, something of like-minded people to share and spend time with. And then you start cultivating relationships. Invite someone over for, coffee, glass of wine, lunch. Just you take initiative. And embody all of that juice. Because, my friend, this is the best season of your life. Don't put any limitations on yourself, and remove all the shackles, all the limitation, all the stinking thinking, all the limiting belief. Get rid of that. If you're not seeing any progress, get rid of that. If you are single and you want to meet someone, you need to know that there is someone out there waiting to meet you. You need to know that. Not believe that. You need to know that. Why? Because you're worthy. You are worthy of sharing the love that you have with someone else, or whatever it is you want, friendship, companionship, whatever. You are worthy. And the fact that you are worthy, once you know that, again, not belief, because belief is when you doubt. You're not sure. I believe this, I believe that. No. You have to know. And that's why when you do things like self-gratitude, it seems weird, but it helps you. It increases your understanding, your knowledge of your self-worth. And you can navigate through life with confidence and start attracting the things to your life that you deserve to have. That you deserve to have. You are created to live an amazing life for pleasure. Now, if you think something else, some people try to be, kind of humble. Oh, I'm created to help others. Look, I'm helping you right now. I'm helping myself. But when I share this with you, is my desire that I am emanating. The energy that you feel coming from me, it's real, it's authentic, because that is what I love to do. And it gives me pleasure. It gives me pleasure. It gives me pleasure to share, to impart. And it's, this is just me sharing and wishing the best for you. Wishing the best for you. So, my friend, I encourage you to keep an open mind, remain curious, and keep your interest in life and things around you sharpened, focused, so that you can grow, evolve, develop into your true, authentic self, knowing your worth and embodying the characteristics of authenticity and your self worth. And with that, know that you are not inherently evil. That just came to my mind. That's for that person that mentioned that. You can't think that way about yourself. Imagine having those thoughts about yourself that everybody's inherently evil. I'm like, no, that's for you. You go with that. That's not me. I am not inherently evil. Am I capable of committing evil? Yes, but I'm not inherently evil because my thoughts flow. I have thoughts of kindness, generosity, helpfulness, and so forth. Not evil. So that's not for me. So I don't embrace that. So with that, my friend, if you miss this 2 p.m. Thursday afternoon, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time broadcast, you can always view it 24/7 on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Look at the little icons in the bottom there and you can check it out. I'm also a life coach. You know that. So if you have any need for any kind of coaching situation, I do offer a 15-minute consult so that we can know if this is the right match. And so you can shoot me an email. Just go to my webpage, the CynthiaLinoxShow.com, scroll to the bottom, and you can send me an email and I will address whatever questions or whatever situation you mention, and we'll take it from there. In the meantime, I'm going to say ta-ta for now. I'm going to say have a wonderful rest of the day and the upcoming weekend. And, this is the holiday season. So I am wishing you from my household to yours a happy and prosperous holiday season, whether it's Hanukkah or Christmas, whatever it is that you celebrate. I am wishing you a happy holiday, and we will see each other. We'll meet again next week and chat some more. So, hasta la vista, amigo. Hasta luego. I'll talk to you later. We'll see each other again.